Rise Business Framework, Systems Quadrant, Quadrant number 3. This is where we talk about meeting structure. We're talking about a business pipeline, stoplight reports, and process execution. Kicking it off is the meetings. First is all, we have to make sure we understand what these 4 different meetings are and the importance of these meetings. The first meeting is your business culture meeting. This is a culture meeting where we talk about, it's very similar to a State of the Union address. This is where we share the strategy of the organization. This is where we talk about our purpose. This is where we talk about the key purpose indicator. This is where we share good news and we get buy-in and everybody building good health for the organization. Then we have our strategic meeting. Our strategic meeting is something that happens on a quarterly basis. This is where we're setting our strategy for the next 90 days. We're reviewing our 1 year, making sure that we're in line with that. We're reviewing our 3 year to make sure we're aligned with that. We're making sure that we're not doing any strategy that doesn't help us fulfill purpose, and we're always driving and achieving our KPI of our key purpose indicator. This meeting is driven by a KPI called a profit indicator, and we're adjusting that strategy on a quarterly basis. Next is your organizational meeting. Your organizational meetings are done on a weekly basis. Your performance indicator comes into this meeting. In this meeting, we're making sure that we performed what we said we were going to do this past week. We solve key issues in this business. We're driving the business to move it forward. We're looking at to-dos to make sure what we said we're going to do got done. We're looking at our 90-day commitments and our fast goals to make sure that we're on target to achieving them and that we're not going to finish the sprint not hitting those things on time. And then we're making sure that we are setting goals and reviewing what we need to do for the next 7 days. From that meeting, we drive to a tactical meeting. A tactical meeting is a daily meeting that we are reviewing our key process indicators with our organization. We have everybody in the organization tied to a process. They do the process every day, and they report on a process indicator that ensures that that process was done effectively. And any process indicators that show that the process is not working, then we have a second tactical meeting called a System 60s meeting. In this meeting, we come together to document core processes and or adjust core processes based on the process indicator working or not working. And this is the meeting structure that we need to make sure we're implementing. Again, culture meeting done on a quarterly, reviewing the strategy set every quarter to adjust what's not working and create a vision plan for the next 90. Organizational meetings to make sure we review performance on a weekly and get done what we need to get done 7 days at a time. And tactical meetings, making sure the processes are being done and followed and adjusted on a weekly basis if they are failing the business. Next is your business pipeline. Your business pipeline helps you understand what your pipeline looks like from the start when your customers see your message to the end when they pay you for your product. And understanding that and breaking down that pipeline and what we call a SIPOC. Supply, where do we get our supply from? How do we input that supply? How do we process it throughout the organization? How do we output it, get it to our customers? And then how does our customers or consumers obtain that product? Understanding what that SIPOC looks like and what the cycle times are in between. Cycle times is where we look at the SIPOC and we go supply to input, how long? Input to process, how long? Process to output, how long? Output to customer, how long? And making sure we understand the average cycle time in between those. Because we can see our business growth and actually we can see our market shift based on that cycle time. And more importantly, after we've added up all those cycle times from supply to input to process to output to customer, that can show us what our cash conversion cycle is. And help us also understand if we have 3 different suppliers, 3 different processes, we can have up 9 different cash conversion cycles. It can help us measure what's our shortest cash conversion, what's our longest, what's our average. And these things are so important to help us project our vision properly. Next is our stoplight reports. Stoplight reports are a red, green, or a yellow report that tells you whether or not red, we are in trouble, the KPI is failing us. Green, everything's good to go. We're green because we're making money or we're hitting our metric. Or yellow, it means we're treading on an area of either failing or succeeding. And it doesn't mean it's an area that we failed in yet. It's just a cautionary area, an area for you as a leader to keep your eye on. And the first stoplight report we want is for our key purpose indicator. Maybe in 5 years from now, you have a goal to build 1,000 houses, right? And then in the next 1 year, to be able to get to that 1,000, you want to do 250 this year. And in this next quarter, you want to do 50 this quarter. making sure we're measuring that on a stoplight report so that we see our progression to our purpose. Next is our profit indicator. Our profit indicators stoplight report is where we take our financial data, our variance reports, our budgets, and our P&Ls, and we see whether or not we're achieving the budget. And if we're not achieving the budget or we're in jeopardy of not achieving budget, then a stoplight report shows us the areas in which we are failing in that budget. Performance indicators, these are weekly metrics. Usually a leadership team reviews a performance metric for their teams on a weekly basis, like how many contracts do we get, how many closings do we have, how many widgets do we sell. It's the results that we're measuring here to measure performance. Anything that's not in line with hitting our profits and getting us back to our purpose needs to be adjusted on a weekly basis. And then the process indicator, the ultimate metric in an organization, is the most important metric in the organization because it helps us measure whether or not the process got done efficiently today. If you're supposed to make 50 phone calls and you only made 20, why? If you're supposed to make 10 offers but you only made 5, why? These are metrics that we measure on a daily basis because if we don't do these daily, we're not going to perform, we're not going to hit profits, and we're not going to fulfill purpose. So creating a stoplight report, a red, green, and yellow report for each one of these types of KPIs is a critical thing for your organization to drive results. And then process. Process is so important. By getting the processes out of your head and getting them on paper, it allows you to let go without losing control. So we use process mapping technology to do that. Companies like Lucidchart, we go in and we document the what we do. It's just high-level steps from start to end of each one of our processes. Then we take each one of those steps and we build procedures for those steps. How to do it, what to do, how to do it. And then the policy, which is when it should be done. So if you have a documented process and you have a documented procedure for that process, you have to be able to tell your employees your expectations of when it should be done. Process is what we do, procedures are how we do it, policy is when we do it, and if we do those things right, we're going to drive productivity. And so therefore in the RISE Business Framework, we talk about how to drive productivity by weaning out the waste in our business. Waste happens when we have no value or it's not essential to our customer. In other words, if it's not valuable to your customer, it's not essential to you or your customer, then it is a waste in your process, and we want to eliminate that stuff as much as possible and drive up the productivity in your business. Now, just like we've done with the other quadrants, we're going to do an assessment of systems for you, and you're going to rate your business based on 1, 2, or 3. 1 below, 2 meets, 3 exceeds. Question number 1 is this. We have documented process, procedures, policies that are easily accessible by our team members. Is that below, meets, or exceeds expectations? We have key numbers that each team member knows and tracks on a daily process, weekly performance, and monthly profit basis in order to make sure we're hitting purpose. 1, 2, or 3. Next, we have organized weekly meetings where problems are solved, tasks are assigned, and progress are measured. Talking back to that meeting structure, that performance meeting on a weekly basis. Do you have that meeting in place? 1, 2, or 3, and how effective is it for you? And then last, we have a clear understanding of our business pipeline, that SIPOC, from customer acquisitions all the way to referral, supply, input, process, output, customer. Totaling these up, 1 to 3, 1 below, 2 meets, 3 exceeds. You should have a high score here, 12. If you scored a 10 to 12, you're doing very well here in systems. If you scored below a 10 here, I'd encourage you to go to the risebusinessbooks.com and get your copy of the RISE Business Framework today so you can help dial these areas in. Or go to risebusiness.com and schedule your free consultation today with our team so we can help you rise to your 100%.